With all the craziness in this world, we are here to have open and honest conversations to help navigate our thoughts.
Sometimes we are right and sometimes we're wrong. But in the end, if we aren't learning, we aren't living.
This is Philip.
And this is Wes.
And we are
Two Bottles Deep. Hey, Phil.
Hello, Wes.
I am excited
Me
about
too.
today. An international guest.
I know. Is this our first international guest?
I think
it
so.
is.
Yes. Well, in a time consumed by the allure of social media, we all go through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We find ourselves getting caught up in those virtual debates.
Yep.
And we are prone to snap judgments based on just a mere headline, which distracts us from the beauty of the world that is taking place around us.
Yeah. And the pace of life, it just seems relentless at times and leaves me and many others yearning for a moment of calm and tranquility among all this chaos.
I love those words, calm and tranquility. And the world is just now coming out of the pandemic, and this has caused us to question lives, careers, relationships, even what we do for work. I think our careers. So we are drawn to a slower rhythm that can help us soothe our souls.
And today we are very thrilled to virtually introduce you to a kindred spirit. Hailing from the serene southern reaches of Malaga, Spain, Simona is a beacon of wisdom. She is a holistic life and health coach who once graced the world's stages as a classical singer.
Oh, so we have a lot in common. You don't want to hear me sing, y'all. So without further ado, please make welcome to the Two Bottles Deep virtual studio, Simona Mango.
Woo-hoo! Oh, look at the crowd.
I mean, on their
so
feet,
many people.
Simona.
Well, hello, Simona.
Hello, gentlemen.
How are you?
Happy and thrilled to be here with you.
Oh, well,
I'm so excited because I want to ask, is it like Monday there? Like, what time is it?
Monday?
Saturday here.
It's Saturday here and it's 4 p.m.
Oh, wow. So it's early morning here. I was so excited. I got up super early today, did my walk, and I was just trying to get in this mindset. I get to talk to an amazing new friend overseas.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's get a little history from you. Tell us, so did you grow up in Malaga, Spain?
No. I've been living here for 8 years now.
Okay.
I'm half Swiss, half Italian. I'm a very strange mix. And I grew up actually in southern Italy, in Naples. And then, I lived there for my first 22 years. Then I moved to Rome. Then from there, I moved to Switzerland. I went from my fatherland to my motherland. And only after that, 8 years ago, I came to Spain.
And what got you to Spain?
If I'm totally honest, the climate, the weather, this incredible atmosphere, it's so relaxed. It's a bit like southern Italy, but more exotic. There's all these tropical plants here and parrots and, the flavors, the colors. It's fantastic.
We're booking our flights.
Yeah,
right.
We're heading there now.
Come see me.
Do you still cook Italian since you were mostly raised there? Or what cuisine do you like?
I'm heavily Italian influenced when it comes to cooking, but then I picked up some really, really nice stuff here, and my way of cooking is always very natural. I really cook everything from scratch, from pure produce. I grow some of my own food. And so, it's a sunny way of cooking, Mediterranean, sunny, colorful.
Do you have a guest bedroom, Simona? We'd love to come stay there.
Of course.
Well, what was it like growing up? Excuse me. What was it like growing up in Italy? Childhood? What are your memories, fond memories? What did you take from childhood?
It was very mixed for me. So I grew up in Naples, which is a gorgeous city. It's absolutely beautiful. But I was growing up in a part of town that was not so nice. So I didn't have much freedom. My sister and me, we were just locked in, basically. We were taken to school with a bus. We were driven back home. So I lived it more like a bit of a prison. I didn't really get a lot of the nice sides of it. And then growing up, I got more of the less nice sides. And we're talking about a long time ago. I'm 53. We're talking about, I left Naples in 1992. and I was very happy to leave. I say that with a little bit of sadness because it's a city that's fantastic and I love going back there. I enjoy it now because obviously I'm living it, I'm experiencing it from a completely different point of view and all of that. But back then it was not really a happy time for me there. No.
I always find that interesting. I don't know if you're the same way, Wes. Like I was so happy to get away from where I was raised, the city, and now coming back, I love it. It's like you said, a new perspective on kind of
Totally.
like I find that really interesting.
Yeah. And I grew up in a really, really small town. So I love to go back and visit, but there's just nothing there for me as far as career wise. Family and friends are there, which are great and I have good memories, but I don't really want to.
Yeah, you don't want to
I
go
could
back.
never could be back there, you know? So then you went to Rome.
Yeah, and that's a completely different universe. It's 2 hours motorway away. It's really not that far, but it's a completely different atmosphere, completely different, uh, almost culture, I would say.
Really?
It's completely different. I was really happy there. That was one of the happiest times of my life, going to this wonderful city and being able to make the most of it. Because Naples is fantastic too, but I was just not able to enjoy it because of many things, many situations. And in Rome, I was immersed in all that beauty. I was studying first, and then working as an art restorer, as a decorator. I was doing stained glass. I was restoring these beautiful paintings. I was immersed in all that, beauty and everything, and that was wonderful.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
What was your first job? Was that the first job you ever had? Restoring
No,
paintings? Or what was the very first job?
my very first job or jobs were translations. Back in Naples, I started when I was 17. I started translating basically papers for conferences for professors at the university from Italian into French. So I happened to tap into that through a friend of my father's, and I started translating. And then I translated tourist guides of Naples into German, and I translated for years actually.
So how many languages do you
Oh,
speak?
wow.
5.
Okay.
I,
Good question.
Mona, I need you to sit down. 5 languages? I bragged the other day about knowing 30 phrases in Spanish. I'm living.
Was there ever a time when you're translating where you got to a sentence or a word and you didn't know it? So you're like, sounds like bridge. Let's put bridge.
Many times.
I always wonder too when people are translating.
Like-
Sorry, but like at work, I'm a physical therapist, Simona, and I use translators a lot. And I'll speak for like 5 minutes, and the translator will be like, "She said she's in pain." I'm like, no, hold on.
It's a lot of words.
Yeah, a lot of
And then
words.
You just said 3 words to me.
Well, that
I'm
sounds
just
like an
getting it.
interesting job, though.
Yeah, no, that was always very very precise, very technical. I was working for the professors I was writing to for translating for were criminologists, so there was a whole terminology, a whole
Wow.
it has to be pretty precise. And after that I started translating these tourist guides and stuff, and most of it was history of art. So obviously the whole terminology, the whole thing, there again, it had to be so fair bit of work went into that.
Oh, I'm sure.
What did you want to be from a young age? What was your dream?
I had quite a few. The biggest one, I think, in my teens and early 20s, and then I took a different path, but was to become a pilot. And then I wanted to fly planes, but then it kind of fizzled out, and I went down a completely different route.
Was there what do you think caused you to want to fly planes? You're living in Naples.
She wanted to get out of there.
Right? She's like, the only way to get out of here is fly.
You think you're joking, but no, actually. I used to say that Naples had one good thing about it, and that was the airport.
It's so funny to hear you say this
It's a
because
bit
I know so many
unfair.
people who go to Naples to visit. Like
People
course.
flock there from over here.
but
Of
it's a
course.
unique experience when you grow up there,
It's
especially
a
the way you were
fabulous
raised.
place. I can say it now. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I think I was reading that you didn't start singing classically until you were, what, 26, or started
25, yeah.
taking lessons?
Yeah.
Tell me, like, at what moment are you sitting at a cafe one day at 25 and you're like, you know what, I'm going to start singing?
No, I always loved it. I was always singing like that for myself, nothing in particular. Actually, in school, when we were singing in the choir, uh, I was dying to sing the solo parts, but I was too shy to, step forward and say I'm going to do
Oh,
it. So I would hide somewhere in the belly of the choir, and I would sing my little heart off. But anyway, so I always loved it. And one day, as I was doing my decorating, restoring stained glass works, my boyfriend at the time came with a flyer, and the flyer read, "Do you want to sing? If you are a woman, we have a course that's starting on the date," and the date was on that very day. "Call us." So he gave me that. I set off to somewhere, and then I remembered, and I stopped at a phone cell, a public phone, called and said, "I saw the flyer. I want to sing." And the guy said, "Perfect. We have 10 places, and only one is left. That's yours. Come tonight." So
wow.
I went there, and he was a young piano player who was looking for um, pupils, just to have a school. He was teaching for free, and he just needed to prove that he had an academy going. So he opened these 10 places for female singers. And after a while of us singing with him, he was teaching us songs and stuff. One night he came and he said, I was the youngest one. Everyone was about my age now, and I was then 25. He sat us down and he said, "Ladies, I'm sorry to say that, but you cannot sing to save your lives. Here you go." And he handed us out the business card of a singing teacher. "Call this lady." So the morning after, I called the lady. I was so excited. I went, I had an appointment with her. And after a couple of minutes, when she started singing, started showing me something, I said, "Oh, you are an opera singer." And she says, "Yeah, so what?" And I said, "I want to sing opera." She said, "Girl, forget it." And I said, "No, no, I want to sing opera." She said, "Look, you won't be anywhere in 8 years from now if we start with opera, okay? If we do the songs properly, in 6 months, you'll be making money in nice bars, okay?" I said, "I don't care. I want to sing opera." She was like, "No
Wow.
way."
And then here you
So,
are singing opera.
Yeah.
if you can master opera, can you just sing anything? Do you
No,
feel
not really, because
really?
if you listen to me sing a pop song or a jazz song, I just sound so classical. I mean, there are people who are able to do that. That's not me. I don't know how to belt.
Yeah.
I don't know how to sing a rock song like you would believe that I'm a rock singer. No way. No way.
Bust out Celine Dion or Steven Tyler.
Right.
I do a mean Ave Maria.
Oh, don't get him going
I'm
on that.
not going to do it here. I have not warmed up. I'm just letting you know, Simone, if you're ever on tour and need an Ave Maria, you're like, there you go. But I can go really low too. I don't know what key that's supposed to be in,
That's
but
what I do. I go really low.
oh yeah, there you go.
So, a question for you, Simona. With all the performances that you've done, has there been one that was like the most special, one that most meant the most to you when you've been performing? And what was it?
Um, I loved many. I've done many different things in opera, in chamber music, which means art song recitals. In oratorio, sacred music with big orchestra, which is an experience. I have one thing that happened once. I was called to sing the whole opera, the whole staged version of Nabucco by Verdi. That's a big historic, opera with kings and raging princesses and all of that stuff, and really wow. And I knew that with probably a month in advance or something. I learned the whole thing. I had one rehearsal, not on stage, just singing with the orchestra. They were Ukrainian. It was a big orchestra. I reckon around 80 or 90 elements,
Wow.
playing like devils or like angels. They were fantastic. And I just went there and sang the whole thing in the staging and everything. And I was pretty young then. I was pretty not that experienced yet. And I remember I didn't make the single slightest mistake. I was perfect. Like first time in my life, probably last, that I was absolutely perfect. And I thought like, wow, I'll never forget that.
Wow.
Were you
Yeah.
able to I feel like if I was doing that, I would be in my head the whole time, like paranoid. Were you able to just be present and do it? And then were you
I don't know. I
looking and you're
was.
like, wait a minute, what did I just do here?
I was actually enjoying it. It was perfect.
I love
And
that.
there were kings there?
Oh yeah, and queens. No, 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 in the opera.
In the opera.
Oh, I'm like Prince Charles the Third. I thought they were like
I would not have messed it up particularly if he'd been there because
Yeah.
I was just in the zone.
Yeah, they hear. Gary Morris spoke at an event we went to here as a British consulate songwriter thing, and he wrote "Wind Beneath My Wings," and he told a story of when he performed that for the Queen, and he just did it. Like I think when someone like here in Nashville, the Grand Ole Opry is this coveted place that everybody, if you're a country artist, wants to play, and so many of the artists come off stage and they're exactly what you said, Philip. They're like, "What? What just happened? Is that on tape? Because I don't know what I did." And so it's neat that you had those experiences. You were just enjoying it and you were in that moment and nothing else mattered, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
I think it's very hard for me to be present all the time because I'm always here, like thinking of the next thing I'm going to say.
Even during a
So,
massage,
oh yeah,
I can't.
oh totally.
Like, why are you not like thinking about a muscle or whatever? And I'm like, did I text back, Grandma? I don't know.
Do you know
Well, I did.
what? Singing and performing like that has taught me a lot about concentration because there are things there that if you let go, you'll mess them up because they are so demanding, they are so complex, they are so, and they really that really taught me a lot. That improved my concentration by I don't know 1,000% over the years. It really did.
So how do you get from gracing all these stages to a life coach? What what happens in your life
Yeah,
where you're like, oh, I'm going to do this now?
it's not really a change like I'm going to do this now. I started teaching singers a long time ago, and when you teach someone to sing, you go into so many levels with them. You go obviously into the technique, the skills. Okay, this is how you do it. This is how you breathe. And the moment you start talking about the body and about breathing, the moment you breathe in a certain way, uh, you start connecting with your emotions, and through the music as well. You start connecting to your emotions a lot, and there, I mean, Pandora's box opens. And when you start working with things that will make you emotional, everything will come out, the most incredible things. And so I naturally found myself helping people deal with so many things that were overwhelming them because they had been awakened by their breathing, by the sound of their own voice, by the lyrics they were singing, by the sound of the whole, the whole thing, the music. And I really noticed that actually when you teach someone to sing, you have the skills, you have the technique, that's part of it, but it's not necessarily the biggest part. It's probably around 50-50. And then comes all the mindset. Who am I to go on a stage? Who am I to, go to an audition, to apply for this job? All of that. And that takes so much growth and personal development. So actually, I've been life coaching, ever since. And now I'm just doing it without the singing part, which works perfectly fine. I can do it with or without.
So, in terms of life coaching, I've been in therapy for a long time, off and on, and I love it. And one of the things I found fascinating about therapy was that most of the time we have the answers. We know the answers. They're inside of us. We just need somebody to kind of help guide us, to that place.
Yeah.
I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, but life coaching, trying to find your purpose and all that, most people have it here. It's just we spend so much time like doing other things to make us seem successful or make us feel like we're happy. Is that the case? Like, do we all have a purpose? It's everything's here in us, and then we just got to find it, or do you help people figure out where to find it, and it's not always inside of us?
Uh, no, it's definitely always inside of us, but not necessarily what you are going to do in order to live your life purpose. Are you going to be an artist, or are you going to be a sportsman? Are you going to be, I don't know, whatever? You could be a teacher, you could be anything. Uh, you can choose, and probably there will be two or three or more things that would meet your needs, that would be the right thing to express your life purpose. So let's talk about this. Okay, there's many possibilities, but your life purpose as a human being is within you, it's inside you. And it might sound a bit simplistic, but your life purpose is to really live and enjoy this life to the fullest. And when you are doing that, when you are not making it too difficult for yourself, and you are really embracing it, you are in a state where also your thoughts flow better, your heart beats freer, and
Mhm.
ideas of what you would like to do and what you will be amazing at, and what they will just come naturally. And it doesn't have to be one thing. I was born to be a writer. Maybe uh, maybe you write at some stage in your life. Maybe you've done more things. Maybe you change. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are always doing things that support your purpose, which means that support your happiness, your fulfillment, and your growth. And I take it from there. Do whatever makes you happiest. At the moment, it might change.
Well, and I like you said at the moment, because there are times when maybe your old life purpose isn't your life purpose anymore. And I think of people transitioning to empty nesters, like last kid has gone to college or graduated college, or
Sure.
grandparents that now have grandkids. So it's like,
Absolutely.
and or changing careers like we talked about in the intro. And right
Mm.
now it's like we've we have so many listeners email in about being single, not being single, how much they love it, how much they hate it, and everybody's a little bit different. But it's kind of, we talked about in our pre-interview, is that soul searching. And for me, at times I felt like, God, I'm in my 40s and I'm starting over. But then again, when I hear you talk, I'm like, no, the world is your oyster, which I still don't know what that means. Like, is an oyster like worldwide? Like, I know I've always said the world is my oyster, and I love oysters. But like, I'm so motivated. After 13 years, I left a career
That's right. I
with
know.
a
And this is
plan, but it's
fantastic.
like, but it's
Yeah.
like but it's like the soul searching. And Philip and I talked about this morning. I'm like, I've never soul searched, I don't think. The pandemic, I learned to sit by myself, and that's when I started therapy. So maybe that's a step, but the soul, I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't, I've never been present there. I always just pushed it to the back so I didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah. No, you have to simply think of the moments that you have been happiest, the absolute happiest, the absolute, uh, just when you feel like, wow, life is really fabulous. There are moments like that.
Yeah.
And when you think back to those moments, these are moments where, for a long or short time, your mind was keeping a bit more quiet, and you were just there in your real space, which is the space of your soul, feeling yourself and your life. And these are the moments, and they could be different moments. Externally, from the outside, seen as doing completely different things or whatever. But what they have in common, if you feel like absolutely fantastic, wonderful, you are, I say, close to your soul and away from your mind. When you feel bad, you are close to your mind, because your mind does all sorts of strange things. And when you are when you
Yeah.
are really in a wonderful place, you are in your soul or very close to your soul.
So I'm trying to get the concept, and I generally understand the soul, right? So for me, Wes and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. Like I would describe it as the non-physical part of our being.
Totally. Yeah.
So my question is we're born with a soul. Is it the soul that does it stay the same? Like, are we born with like a soul that already includes everything that we could possibly be, or does our soul grow? Can we enrich our soul? Like, is it,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Like, or is it like we just got to
I
tap
love
into it and
this.
it's already there? Or is it like, no, I got to do some homework on my soul?
No, it's not that we are born with a soul. It's that our soul decides to come into this life with a body and a mind.
Okay.
That's the
Got
thing.
it.
So it's not that you have a soul, it's that your soul has a body.
Okay.
Okay, your
Spirit,
body,
inner being.
spirit, your body and your brain, which is part of your body and has its functions, that is what we call the mind, are a small part of you, a really small part. We concentrate on that. I am my mind and my body. No, you are your soul, and your soul has this mind and this body that's, short-lived, changeable, interchangeable. It's whatever. Your soul is who you really are, and all the rest is what you want it to be, and you can change that anytime.
And do we, this may be getting a little deep, but are all the souls like already here? You know, like if we're just a physical representation of our soul and then we die, the souls stay here.
Oh yeah, I mean here.
Well, wherever
Yeah,
here is. I'm not
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
get religious here, but just, like
No,
our
no,
soul just
it's not.
continues
Of
to
course,
exist.
of
So
course.
we get like a very short time to be physical in like a physical body in our soul.
Yeah, I always see it like, sometimes I say a game and sometimes I say a play. Like imagine you are entering a theatre play, for example. You say, okay, I'm going to play this role. I'm going to be that, that's going to be the plot. That's going to be my character. So you come out of the dressing room on stage, you strut and fret, you play your thing, and you go back to the dressing room. You're not dead. Sure, the audience can't see you anymore, but you're not dead. You're in the dressing room. Or I can say you enter a game and you say, okay, I want to, I want to play that game. That's what I'm setting for myself. Go and play. And then you enter the game, you play, like in a match or something, you play. And when the game is over, the game is over. And when the game is over, depending on how it's going, you have to bandage a knee, or you say, wow, this was really fun. You have a shower and you say, okay, ready for the next game, or, whatever. But it's temporary things that ourselves love to do for fun, for growth, for expansion, for the sake of it. And then they go back and then they say, then for example you die, oh shit, okay, start over again, okay, all right, start again. I'll do better this time, I'll have more fun this time. It's not better because you were bad, I'll have more fun.
Yeah. Okay, so this is not on the show notes. I'm famous for this. But what do you think? So I've seen ghosts in my life. Is
Mhm.
that a soul? Is that a being? Is that what is that?
Yeah, quite likely. Yeah, quite
Really?
likely. What was the experience? What did you see?
I was 12, whatever junior high is. Yeah, 12, 13, somewhere in there. And I was on the couch and I just looked over by the stairs in our home and there was a guy in a top hat. I compare it to like an Abe Lincoln. And then I looked over and then on the other side of the living room there was another being like elevated in the air. And at first I woke up, I'm like, did I fall asleep with the TV on? And there's still like this light. But, I looked over at the clock. I'd been asleep for hours and I could not turn on those lights any faster than what I did. They were nice. They were pleasant. They were just like looking at me. But that was like a really scary thing. But they were both dressed in like very old 1800s clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was literally, my parents had just built that house. So like we were a year into living into a brand new
It
home.
was
There was
definitely
an
not
older home
haunted or anything. Yeah.
well, there was an older home on that in the back of the property. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I'd have had to move.
dream like
I can't do
we had the
that.
priest out,
Right.
the sage and stuff. It was I don't think, I always say I wanted to see a ghost, but like with people there again to have that interaction. But I've had a lot of like my friend RC, who passed away very young from cancer. Like he's come to me a lot in dreams as his old self, my grandparents, my great grandparents. But that to me was a dream, which I don't know what those mean either. But this was like real life. I was 12. I was not drinking. I was not, this was an experience that even my parents didn't believe.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know what
it,
that
no
means.
problem. I have no problem believing that. Yeah.
Yeah. But my great grandmother, she everybody would say she would always see spirits and beings. So I'm like, maybe I got that from her. And it hasn't happened in years. So it's not like it happens all the time. It kind of was cool. Like I want it to happen
very cool.
again.
That's beautiful if you are open to that.
But what's your interpretation on that? Is that a soul? That's a spirit? Why don't we see more of them?
In theory, we should not see a lot of them because if they're still roaming around, it's because they haven't gone to the other side really. They are still hanging in here, which is heavy for them. It's painful. It's not really, when you go to the other side. On the other side is gorgeous. It's just so beautiful. And when they are too attached to something, a person, a place, a building, a memory, something, it could be anything, they don't really leave, and they should. And there are people, actually, if that happens to you again, just tell them that they're stuck and tell them to go. They will know where to go, they're just not willing. And tell them that it's okay and they can go. They can. It's perfectly okay for them to go, and actually they'll be happier if they do. And it's nothing here left for them to do.
I hope
They hang around.
I hope you can stay as calm as Simona is. When the ghost is there, she's so calm about it. I'd be like, get out! Get out!
I'm turning on lights.
Well, I'm not surprised you turn on lights the first time you say, well, like, wow, what is this? But if it's just someone like you and me who, you go through a door and they're still hanging in the door. They haven't gone through it and shut it behind them. They're still a bit like, and you tell them, look, you can safely leave. Don't worry. You can go.
Just talk to them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I hope that happens again.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah. It's beautiful if you're able to see these energies. It's beautiful.
Have you heard of the song "Temporary Home" by Carrie Underwood?
Not sure.
I'll send it to you. I would like for you to hear it. She's a country music artist over here, and it's a song that it basically says this is our temporary home. These bodies, these meat bags that we are in, is a temporary home, and then
it's a temporary vehicle. I don't really see it as a home. Our temporary home is this. It's this planet, but it's our vehicle that we use to get around in it.
So, as we talk about the soul, is it important? I mean, I know the answer is yes. We need to enrich our soul, but is it something like I don't even know how to ask it. Like, how do are we making our souls better? Are we making us better by?
Yeah.
Like I think of the things that make me feel super happy, and I mean, going to the theater is one of those. Sitting and just watching, I just feel a sense of like, I don't know. It's just it's amazing.
It's your
to me.
place.
Yeah, I get so excited. Is that enriching my soul? Is that enriching my brain? What is that doing for me? Why is it making me feel that way?
Yeah, yes, it's definitely adding experience because our souls like gathering experience.
Okay.
Enriching, sure. Yeah, it's more about experience. It's not about bettering, improving. It's none of that. But there again, imagine the sports person entering the field. Every game they will become more experienced, more aware, better at, not a better person. They will just become better at what they do. They will have their horizon enlarged, their experience enlarged, and all of that. But their worth as a human being is the same before and after the game, and is the same if they win or if they lose or any of that.
No, that's a good point.
But it's the sheer joy of the experience. We come to this planet because it's I mean, it can be dreadful, but sometimes we need exactly that and we choose it. But we come here for the amazement of it, the joy of it. It's it's just wonderful.
So,
And yeah,
and so when you said that, that just triggered my mind. There's so many times where my soul's not happy. And it's like whether that's society that puts this in us or this challenge to us, I'm like, I always have to be doing something that makes me happy.
yeah, no, it's not
And
soul that's not happy. Your soul is perfectly happy. Who's not happy is I mean, your soul might be going like, okay, come on, Wes, but your soul is not unhappy. Your soul is happy. Your soul is loving the experience. What's not happy is your mind, is part of your mind. I see it like the mind I'm talking to now, the you I'm talking to, is capable of observing some aspect of itself, and it's capable of talking about the soul. It's able to observe. If you see yourself, the you I'm talking to is the observer who observes. We identify with it, we say, I'm not happy. Who's I? Your soul wouldn't say that it's not happy. Not at all. Your soul is happy. Part of your mind is not happy, and another part of your mind is causing you to be unhappy. So
oh,
that's what we can do when we are. Do you know those little cartoons where you have the angel and the devil on either
Hmm.
shoulder, and one says,
yeah.
it's see yourself as the little character, and then you have the mind that's a little devil, and the soul that's a little angel. And it's always, who are you listening to? When you're listening to the soul, you are happy because your soul only speaks about love. It doesn't know anything else. It doesn't care about anything else. And when you are not happy, you are listening to your mind because your mind only knows fear. And then, of course, it's clever. It can do a lot of things, but it's ruled by fear. And when you are in fear, you are in a bad place. Everything feels bad. So it's always, is your head going towards love or towards fear? And you will know exactly just by the way you feel. How are you feeling right now? What's your
Yeah.
emotion? You will know who's talking to you.
So
Ooh, that's good.
one of the things I took from the pandemic was realizing that I do not like being alone.
Mm-hmm.
I I kind of knew it, but we were kind of forced for many months to kind of. And I was single, lived by myself anyway, so didn't have a roommate, and so
Hmm.
and I kept catching myself being like, wait a minute, am I unhappy? Like it wasn't. There's nothing, no reason to be unhappy. Like the day was perfectly fine. I was just at home by myself, and I'm like, how are you? I mean, you've got this place to live, you've got food, you're healthy. How are you sitting here in this nice place unhappy? So, is that, I'm assuming that's my mind kind of playing
Yes.
off fears of
So that,
things.
yeah, of course, that's your mind.
So, is that a normal, like, how do I deal with that? And why do I not like being alone?
Uh, well, one very simple reason is that you're a human being, and human beings are social animals.
Yeah.
We like to be in a pack. There's many other animals out there in the mammal realm, in the birds and fish, and most. I think even trees like to be. Even trees have friends, and they connect with their roots on the ground. We do like that. We I think that's perfectly normal and perfectly okay. I don't think you were so. If you say, the situation is that I would love to be with other human beings, the situation is a bit strange now and I can't, uh, yeah, this can make me sad or so. But if you say that you are unhappy, then this is not because you don't have other people around. This can be a temporary annoyance. This can be something that you want to find a way of working around. Not ideal, but not enough to make you unhappy. Unhappy means that there's something that's, if you're really, really honest with yourself, if you have people now, would you be happy? Would you use the word, I am happy? You see a friend, you say, I'm so happy to see you. Yes, but is that really your happiness? Is that really what makes you happy? We use these words a bit lightly.
Yeah, you're right. And is it important to be alone? Like, I'm a very
Uh,
social person. I love being around people,
yeah,
but I I keep reading that like you need to be, spend time alone, get good with your be good with yourself. My therapist tells me all the time, you're not going to find somebody until you're really good with yourself and
I
comfortable.
agree. I agree, 100%.
Does that include being alone? Like, do you think it's important that you spend time alone?
I think so. Yeah. It's not that you're not going to find someone. You'll find a lot of people. The problem is that yeah, you're not going to
Yeah.
find someone you really want to be with, and someone who will really want to be with you. I mean, long term. Finding someone is not the problem. The problem is ask yourself, why do you want someone? What do you want? What do you need? So you are at the moment telling the universe that you are lacking something. You want it and you need it because you don't have it, right? So you are coming from a position of lack. And what happens with that is that your general frequency, your general energetic vibration is one of lack, is one of not being content. The problem with the universe is it's a beautiful thing, but it's very honest, and the universe will mirror back at you whatever you are broadcasting out there. So if you are in the energy of I feel lonely, I'm in lack, the universe will go, you feel lonely, you're in lack. The universe won't go, oh, wait a minute, okay, let's do something about this. This is not really nice. So let's see how we can fix this. No, the universe is very, very cool, very cold. Says, you say lack, okay, lack. You say abundance, okay, abundance. You say whatever, joy, okay, joy. You say despair, okay, despair. It doesn't care. So that's the thing about the frequency of our thoughts. We are creating whatever we experience. We're creating whatever manifests really in our lives. Not so much with the thoughts, because you can think of what you want, but it's the energy that thought triggers in your body. It's the emotion attached to it. So if you think of this beautiful, say, relationship that you want, there's two ways of doing that. One is if you think of it like so vividly as if you already had it, like, this is what I have in my life, not what I want and I don't have. This is what my life looks like. Beautiful, rich relationship. The universe goes, beautiful, rich relationship. If you think like, oh, that would be so nice, I don't even know where to start, I don't have it. Okay, don't have it.
Mm.
It's as impersonal as that.
So changing the mindset and instead
It's
of putting
yeah.
out, I can't, I won't, I don't like, it's this is where I see myself. It's just not that I want it, but projecting the relationship that I want.
Yeah, feeling it, knowing in every fiber of your being, which is all of your body and all of your mind, which then ends up meaning your energy. That's what matters. It's your energy. When it's really it's the electric activity of your magnetic field. That's what you are broadcasting.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast with our guest, Simona Mango. Next week will be part 2, where we dive into how our mind lives in fear, but our soul just wants to be happy, and how to look in the mirror and see what we want to see. Here's a clip of Simone singing Ganymede by Franz Schubert. Another great episode of 2 Bottles Deep.
Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast.
And while you're at it, write us a fabulous review.
Please reach out to us on our email, 2bottlesdeep@gmail.com.
There is plenty of love in this world. Be a part of it.